Queens, welcome back to my channel. I am Sab if we've never met before, and this is my channel where I talk about my plants, mostly in passive hydroponics. Today we are tackling some of the worst mistakes you can make when converting plants into LECA. So these are from my experience, and obviously people will have a different experience when converting plants into LECA, so take my advice with a grain of salt. But I have been using LECA for over a year now, and I have done a lot of these mistakes myself. So when I say these, it's because I've killed a bunch of plants by doing these exact things. Without further ado, let's just hop right into the first mistake, which is not researching your plant. Now, if you've become more or less familiar with the process of converting plants from soil into LECA, then you may feel overconfident sometimes and just convert whatever plant you have without looking it up first. And that is a big mistake, because even though the process is more or less the same for most plants, there are some exceptions, like plants with rhizomes or cacti and succulents, or some specific plants that are a bit more finicky than others. Off the top of my head, I can think of some plants I've killed by not looking them up first and their needs before converting them into LECA. I can think of calatheas because of, them being calatheas. And I almost killed my alocasia silver dragon, which is thankfully recovering because I didn't look it up first. And I would have found out if I looked it up that juvenile alocasias do not like to be converted into LECA. And the string of plants like string of hearts, string of pearls, those also have a different process when converting them into LECA. So I'm gonna put up the Facebook page that I use to look up plants before converting them into LECA. Sometimes a Google search will not be enough, so I will usually just type which plant I want to convert into this page, and posts will show up of people who have experienced converting that, what it was like for them, if they have any warnings, if you should do it, if you shouldn't do it. So obviously you will have to figure it out for yourself, but going into it with a little bit of research really helps you not kill your plant. So kind of in line with that first tip is the second mistake, which is not giving the plant the right conditions when you're converting it. So you will still need to research, going back again to that first tip, what kind of conditions your plant will need when you convert it. For example, calatheas will need a ton of humidity if you try to convert it into LECA. Or cacti will still need a lot of light, some plants will need not so much light. It really depends on what you're converting. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach when converting plants into LECA, I guess is what I'm saying. And you really have to still provide that particular plant's needs, especially when converting it into LECA. The third mistake that I have been guilty of, and is the most annoying part of the process, to be honest, is not cleaning the soil enough when converting plants into LECA. So a big part of transitioning, and the most annoying part, is washing all of the soil off of the roots. So this part is important because if any sort of soil, or well, not any sort of soil, if too much soil is left on the roots, then it may end up causing your roots to rot or your stem to rot, which is a worse problem, and it just won't be a successful transition. You do need those healthy roots to start the conversion process. So when washing your plant, make sure to get as much of it off as possible. I know it's a really tedious and annoying process, but you're only converting your plant into LECA once, so you might as well get it right. What I do is I use a bidet to spray off most of the soil, and some people don't like this. They get scared that they'll damage the soil. They get scared that they'll damage the roots, but that's actually fine in my experience. You will mostly damage the secondary roots, or the roots that come out from the main bigger roots, and those typically come off anyway when the plants regrow their roots in LECA. It's sort of fine if you damage these roots. Just make sure to air dry the roots after you've cleaned them before converting it into LECA, just so it has time to get rid of any bacteria and close off any of the wounds you've made by cleaning the roots vigorously. Next is a mistake I probably still do every time I have a plant haul, and that is transitioning too many plants at once. And I will tell you later why it's important not to do it, but for now, all I have to say is don't do it. It's too hectic. It's too much of a hassle. And that is connected to the next mistake. Is this the last mistake? Yes, connected to this last mistake, which is not checking on your plants after converting them to LECA, or at least after placing them in LECA. Because converting plants into LECA is not just moving your plant from the soil medium to LECA and you're done. No, that's not how it works. You have to uproot it after a week or after 2 weeks to remove any of the dead roots, which it will have because it has shed most of the old roots already by then. And you have to do that from once a week, once every 2 weeks, and then once a month until the plant has regrown a completely new root system. And that goes back to my earlier mistake to avoid, which is not to convert too many at once. Because if you convert 10 at once, which I think I converted 15 at once at one time in my life, you have to take all of those plants out of their pots and check them very often to see how they're doing. So it's important to remember that the job isn't done once you plop it into LECA and put water in there and put the reservoir in there already. I'm telling you, it will rot if you don't uproot it after a week or two and then check it again after a month to remove the old roots. So that's it for this very quick video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made these mistakes before, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. This is a learning experience for all of us, and I'm glad to be able to share some of the things that I've found out about LECA with you guys. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me out. I will put another video up here for you to watch, and I'll see you next week. Bye!